but is it safe to have them back here? Did they learn to hate America overseas? Joining us again, a congressman who fought hard to get them back here, Michael McCaul, a Republican from Texas. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Edie.
You know, we talked about this a little bit when we were discussing it before, and that is, what did they learn? How, if they were at all radicalized, did they become? And what can you do once they're back here? One of the kids is 17. Is there a way to have someone talk to them, counsel them, put them in therapy, find out where they're at right now?
Well, first, I want to thank the State Department and the government of Pakistan for one of the quickest turnarounds I think I've ever seen. We, in less than a week, have these American children, these American citizens who are children, back at home with their parents and with their family where they belong and not in a radical madrassas. And I think that's very good news today. With respect to any concerns, I know that the authorities, if warranted, they certainly will be looking at this, and if warranted, would be taking the appropriate action to ensure that the security of the United States is met.
Okay, but hold on. That sounds really nice. But what can you do? They're American kids coming back to America. What could anyone force them to do?
Right, and I think we'd want to know what the training was over there, what they were taught in this particular school. We do know that back prior to September the 11th, Osama bin Laden visited this particular madrassa. So we do have some concerns, obviously, with it. It raises the bigger issues I mentioned last time I was on the show, Edie, in terms of how many more Americans are in these madrassas, some of which are radicalized. And we know that once you graduate from these madrassas, they are taken to other areas like the tri-border area that I discussed, which trains them to become terrorists. When you look at the issue in Afghanistan with our troops and the increased violence, it's coming out of this tri-border area. Also, with respect to protecting the homeland in the United States, any threat would most likely come out of this region. So I think we'll have a great deal probably to learn from these two children, these two boys. And I'm just very pleased, though, that we were able to have such a quick turnaround to get them out of there where their safety could have been compromised and their well-being and back home in the United States.
Did you talk to their parents at all? Because, you know, I mean, I'm not a Muslim, but it seems odd to me as a parent to, as an American, send them away for education, even religious education, when there is plenty of solid religious education to be found here at home, especially to a school that is known, as you say, for having hosted Osama bin Laden, and as many who have visited say, teaches radicalized Islam.
Yeah, we have been in touch with the family. I think they're very pleased to have their sons returning home. I think the initial, I can't speak for the father, but he wanted them to get trained in Pakistan. I think obviously there are some misgivings about what kind of training this is. And let's not forget that the government of Pakistan has a policy, or a law, if you will, to exclude Americans from these schools. I happen to think that's a good policy, and we need to make sure that policy is implemented and executed in Pakistan. And you're right, there are plenty of good schools in the United States that teach the religion of Islam, but not in such a radical way that puts them on the pathway potentially towards becoming a terrorist. And I think that's what's at issue here.
And I think that's what, you know, raises the questions in most people's minds when they hear this story. But it sounds like Pakistan has a lot in common with America. Great laws on the books. They just don't necessarily enforce them. Congressman, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you, Edie.